My name is Anahita Verahrami. I also go by Anna. My advisor was Dr. Sarah Bombachi, and we are both in the Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Conservation Biology at Colorado State University. And the project that I got funding for from the Africa Center was to do two things. And so the first thing was to try and develop a gunshot classifier using acoustic recordings, so different sound recordings taken in the Northern Republic of Congo, and to try and collect the sounds of different types of guns and then use machine learning to try and differentiate between them so that conservation practitioners working in the region can get some more information on what type of hunting is occurring. And then the second part of it was to look specifically at how hunting activity is impacting forest elephant activity. And so that was done through two different analyses. One which looked at how forest elephant presence changes relative to times where there is no hunting versus times that there are or that there is hunting. And then the second one looked at how nocturnal behavior in forest elephants may or may not shift following hunting events. Basically, what a gun test was setting up acoustic recorders at varying distances from this discharge location, and then having either someone from the military or the anti-poaching patrol unit shoot off different types of guns. So we were looking at 12 caliber shotguns, which are mostly used for hunting smaller game, which tend to be less endangered. And then AK-47s and SKS rifles, which are used to hunt bigger game like elephants and chimps and gorillas. And then sound is affected by a ton of different variables, including temperature and humidity and orientation. So these tests were, again, the data was collected at different distances, but then also in different temperatures and humidities, and the guns were shot off in different orientations from the acoustic recorders. And then I worked with a computer scientist working to develop a machine learning detector, transforming the sounds into images of sound called spectrograms. And then we were using a machine learning model to look at those images to see if it could distinguish between the different gun types. I collaborated with the Elephant Listening Project, which I'll refer to as ELP. So ELP has worked with collaborators to develop a machine learning model to find gunshots and a machine learning model to find elephant calls, which we call rumbles. They sound like big cat purrs almost. It's a very interesting, cool sound. And using those data, I basically looked at elephant calling activity over the span of about a week after a gunshot versus in the absence of a gunshot. So what does the 8 days after a gunshot look like versus a control 8 days? And I found a small but significant result that shows that forest elephants, which is the species that lives in the forests of Central Africa, reduce their presence a little bit. So in response to the presence of hunting, they either become quieter or they leave the area. And then the other separate analysis was looking on the day level, how does the number of gunshots that occur on a day, so the pressure, the hunting intensity, how does that relate to forest elephant nocturnal behavior? With the prediction being that they will become more nocturnal in response to gun hunting. The tentative results right now show that as gun hunting intensity increases, forest elephants are becoming more nocturnal. My responsibility, even though it's very comfortable to be here in the US, doing data analysis, is to be supporting people there to address the research questions that they're interested in, which would relate to whatever needs they have in terms of, is this species which our community heavily relies upon for food, is it decreasing in numbers or is it increasing? Is there a bias in more males versus females, and how will that affect reproduction and, our future generations' ability to depend on the resource? I'd love to keep working on forest elephants conservation and using sound. I really like the aspect of, yeah, collecting sounds from nature and then being able to obtain different types of information from that and then answer questions. I think that's totally fascinating. But I'm also really interested in developing skills and using camera traps because I think that's a very valuable resource as well. I'm very grateful for the donors who provided this opportunity and for the Africa Center who provided this opportunity. It'll be cool that you have this generational, change of awardees and get to see all the cool things they're doing. So thank you.